Hello and welcome to this video all about why you shouldn't learn to become a programmer. Now, if you could stick with me for the next 8 minutes or so, we're going to talk about a bunch of different reasons why you either should or should not learn to become a programmer and help you to decide if becoming a programmer is right for you. Let's talk about why you shouldn't learn to program, because there are still people who just shouldn't learn to program, people who don't want to learn to program, people who wouldn't be happy as a programmer, right? So with that said, the number one reason that you shouldn't learn to program is that you don't like computers. So if you don't like computers, I don't know why you've even watched this video this far, because obviously programming works with computers. So that's like one of the main things. If you didn't like computers, you would not be happy as a programmer. It doesn't matter how much money you'd be making, you would probably hate your life if you don't like computers and you were working as a programmer. Because that's all I do all day. I probably am in front of the computer like 12 hours a day. And that's not just while I'm working, but even outside of work, if I'm learning or playing a game, I really like computers. So I'm usually at a computer. So if you don't like computers, maybe you should give this one a pass. Another thing is, if you don't like puzzles, the real job of a programmer is just to solve problems. So every day I get a new puzzle, or maybe I'm working on a bigger puzzle that I've been working on for a long time, and my job is to solve it. So I really enjoy this. I really enjoy working on puzzles. So for me, that's really great. But if you didn't like puzzles, you would not enjoy being a programmer. Now, another one is if you enjoy routine and kind of repetitive work, which is totally fine. A lot of people really like to do what they've always done and get used to doing the same thing over and over, and that's just not the case with programming. Like every day I'm working on something I've probably never done before. Now I might have done something similar, but every new project that I work on is a new challenge, and there's nothing really routine or repetitive about it. Well, not nothing. There are definitely things that are similar with every project I work on, but every project introduces something completely new, and I definitely couldn't get by just going on autopilot like you could with some jobs. And another one that kind of goes along with this is if you don't enjoy learning new concepts and ideas. Like I mentioned, I spent a lot of time in front of the computer, and a big portion of that time is learning about all of the new stuff that keeps coming out in the programming community. There's always new versions of all of the frameworks and new stuff in all of the programming languages that I work with, and so there's always something new to learn. And like I mentioned about the puzzles, everything that I do every day is kind of new. So there's always like a new challenge. I'm always working on something that is new to me, and every once in a while I even have to work with a new technology that I've never even touched before. So I'm always learning new things, and I think that's really fun. But if you didn't like that idea, if you like the idea of, learning something once and then knowing it and just being able to go from there, programming is probably not for you, because you are going to have to keep learning on the job, outside of the job, and there's always something new to learn. Like you could never possibly learn everything about programming, because by the time that you did, even if that was possible, there would be new stuff that you haven't learned yet. So that is definitely important. If you don't like learning new things, you probably won't be a happy programmer in the end. Another one that's kind of obvious is if you would rather do physical work. So a lot of people really enjoy physical labor, and that's great, but there's nothing physical about programming at all. Like I definitely try to make sure that I get enough exercise here and there, but I don't get any exercise from doing my job the way that I used to when I was a machinist. So there's definitely something to be said of the idea of physical work that is just not involved in programming. So if that's what you enjoy, you would not be happy as a programmer. And to kind of go along with that is also the idea that you would like working outside. So I work inside pretty well exclusively. Now there's been times where I've tried to take my laptop outside and go sit on my deck, or I've even brought my laptop to the beach and tried to get a little bit of work done. And there's like a glare on the screen. I'm just never productive outside. And so if you would rather work outside, you're probably not going to want to be a programmer. Now with all of that, we can also talk about why you would enjoy being a programmer, why you should be a programmer. So you should probably learn to program if you do like computers or you do like puzzles. So those are definitely the number 1 and 2 things, because that is kind of the whole job description, right? So I work at a computer, solving puzzles. That's my job. That's my whole life. I love that. I love solving puzzles. I love working with computers. And so programming is perfect for me. Now, another good reason to become a programmer is if you want to build cool stuff. So I built some really cool stuff. Everything that I've done as a programmer, I can always look back at and be like, wow, that was really cool that I built that, and it is, it's definitely fun to be able to think of all the cool stuff that I've built over my career. Now, another big reason that people like to learn to program, and it's definitely something that plays into it, is the idea of a high salary. So if you want to earn a lot of money, then learning to program is definitely a good way to go because, well, I'll just say that a lot of programmers make a decent amount of money, and even the lower paid programmers make a pretty good amount of money. So if you want to learn a high salary, then there's no reason that you shouldn't learn to program, because you definitely can earn a high salary as a programmer. Another great reason is if you want to be prepared for the future, because ultimately, programming has been one of those kind of recession-proof and future-proof jobs for a really long time, and I think that it still will be for a really long time. Now, there's definitely like a lot of people out there talking about, oh, well, artificial intelligence is coming and it's going to replace programmers, and that's really just not the case, because at the end of the day, a programmer, first of all, is going to have to build the artificial intelligence and continue to work on that. But also, a programmer is going to have to take whatever the artificial intelligence produces and put it into a program and then make sure that it actually does what it's supposed to do. Like, once you start to understand how programming works, you can see really quickly how complicated it would be for an artificial intelligence to make that program compared to a human, because a human can make like these kind of logical decisions that just make sense to us for some reason. And for a long time, even if artificial intelligence was able to write programs, a programmer would still need to make those programs do exactly the right thing that they're supposed to do. So I hope that you have found this video pretty insightful and helpful for you, and I hope that you know now whether or not programming is a good idea for you. And if you do want to learn to program, then I definitely encourage you to click the link below this video or look around somewhere on this site and find the link that'll take you to the Learn How to Become a Self-Taught Developer page on my site, where you can either get the PDF version of the Learn How to Become a Self-Taught Developer ebook, or even read the entire ebook from your web browser by going to the Learn How to Become a Self-Taught Developer article, which is basically the exact same thing. It's all the same text between the article and the ebook. But definitely check that out, because I think it has a lot of really great insights on how you can go from wanting to be a programmer to actually being one and taking that self-taught route. And if you're interested in kind of starting that journey or continuing that journey to actually learn some technical programming skills, definitely check out my courses. And on my site, you can always find a recent discount link for each one of my courses to get that course at a discount on Udemy. So thank you for watching.